You guys already know this is the main one tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G sucks.
T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
T.A.G's gonna kill.
That's T.A.G shit.
Whose house? T.A.G's house, baby.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.
What it is, what it was, and what it do, T.A.G Nation. Welcome to another episode, aka the first live episode, and hope first mini of Nxt.A.G with your boy, Mr. TPC. That's Technical Predictions Champion for those who are new here, ScooterRay. And unfortunately, I don't have the Technical Predictions Champion because the former champion still has it. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to pass the title over, but it's cool though. It's cool though. I'll get it back at some point. But we're here to talk about NXT, and this was actually a pretty good episode. It was a pretty solid episode because we are 2 weeks away from Heat Wave, so we gotta, build that excitement. We have to build that anticipation for Heat Wave, and by the end of this show, they literally set the men's division and the men's title picture on fire. But let's get into it. The show opens up with Cruz Montana. He comes in the ring and he's like, "Hey, I would have been number one contender if it wasn't for that man to the left, Zilla Fatu. Zilla Fatu cost me number one contendership. I was going to pretty much handle Grayson Waller, and here it is now. I'm not number one contender because of Zilla Fatu." And he was like, "Zilla, come on out here. I know you here." All of these things, and then eventually Stone had to come and was like, "Hey, Zilla's not here, big dog. Like Zilla's not here right now, big dog." And Montana was kind of like, then the music of Ray Phoenix hits, and Ray Phoenix and Montana got a chance to share a moment, share some words, because it was a little like, because when his music hit and he came out, it was like, wait, what's this now? But pretty much it was a transitional piece, because next week Ray Phoenix is going to defend his AAA Cruiserweight Championship against one of these four gentlemen. And pretty much they were sharing words, sharing pleasantries. And then before Cruz left, he was like, "Hey, they say the most dangerous place is the NXT parking lot. So Zilla, I'm gonna wait for you in that parking lot," kind of energy. So we get to this match. Fatal 4-way to determine who Ray Phoenix would fight against next week. You have Romeo Moreno, Tristan Angels, La Parka, and E.K. Prosper. And to be fair, this was a pretty exciting Fatal 4-way. Like, I don't know, was it because the up and coming, or they put this together beautifully? But this was actually a pretty snazzy, jazzy Fatal 4-way that I was like, okay, it has some good action. It has some great false finishes. But ultimately, E.K. Prosper gets that dub. Now, you can tell that they kind of high on E.K. at the moment. E.K. was the one that helped Lizzie in the mixed tag team match next week. They're giving him this AAA Cruiserweight Championship match next week. Not necessarily saying he's going to beat Ray Phoenix, but it's a beautiful thing that, he's getting the shine, getting the rub at the moment. But yeah, EK and Ray Phoenix next week for that AAA Cruiserweight Championship. Then we get a backstage segment of Ren QCC, that's Women's Speed Champion Ren Sinclair and NXT Women's Champion Kendall Gray. And they're pretty much talking about, their tag team match that they have coming up against Kalani and Callie. And Vanity Project shows up, and it's like, get these people off my TV, please. I have nothing against Vanity Project as far as their airing abilities and talents, but it's like, move. Like, can we put the camera on other people? There's nobody else in NXT we can show but Vanity Project at the moment. Nobody else? No. Okay. And they was pretty much, Jackson Drake has an opportunity against Shiloh Hill. And I'll get into the specifics of that, but they was pretty much trading little barbs back and forth, and it was just like, and then after Ren QCC left, Drake was like, Micah, you gonna let them talk to us like that? And she was like, I ain't gonna lie, she did kind of burn y'all though, so you know, you're gonna have to just do something about it, but you need to focus on your match later. Then we get to our next contest, Thea Hale taking on the low-key legend Nxt.A.G. I'm not saying I want this feud to end, the intertwining of all of this to end, but you can tell between Natty, Carmen, and I just forgot her name, the women's Evolve champion, Nikita, and then Jada and Thea. You can tell between these 5 women, it's really coming off. We really don't have nothing for y'all, but we want to keep y'all relevant and on TV. So we're going to just have y'all enthralled. Enjoy yourselves. Fine. But this was coming off of Thea being excited, being geeked up after the tag team victory. So she wanted to pretty much try to get her get back against Natty. Ultimately, Natty wins. She puts her in the sharpshooter. Thea tried with all of her might to withstand, but ultimately she does tap from the sharpshooter. Then Carmen and Nikita kind of, when Jada goes to check in on Thea, they were showing a replay, and Carmen and Nikita had subdued Jada to where they was making her watch Natty put Thea back in the sharpshooter. So it's like the feud continues. The feud continues. Then we go to a segment with OTM and pretty much Lucian Price, since he beat Lexus King last week, he gets a men's speed championship match this week. And Bronco was like, hey, you know I still got your back. You know Birthright gonna do what Birthright's gonna do. I got you. You know you my boy and all. I got you. And Lucian was like, I got this. You know, we still kind of going off of plan B. I got this. So now we go to the match. For the men's speed championship, Lexus King defends against Lucian Price. Of course, speed championship matches are 5 minutes compared to the normal speed matches of being 3 minutes. And of course, Birthright was doing Birthright things. All the members of Birthright interfered. And it was a minute left. And Lucian was about to, it looked like he was about to pick Lexus from the corner to powerbomb him or something. And then I want to say it was Uriah and Stacks, or Uriah and Charlie, that held Lucian's legs while Ariana distracted the ref, which caused King to get the upper hand, hit the coordination. 1, 2, 3. King retains. All the Birthright gets into the ring. They start jumping on Lucian. Bronco comes in. They fight him off. And then, you know, Bronco puts his hand out, and pretty much him and Lucian dap it up. They pretty much dap it up, and there we go. So I don't know if they was trying to make a little small moment of, could Lucian, like, they've been playing with the idea of potentially Lucian and Bronco possibly splitting, since Bronco is part of Los Perros del Mal in AAA. So since Bronco's time is split, Lucian is kind of feeling like, I have to do something. But they hugged it up, and it's like, sure. You know, it's like, sure. Like, Why would you break up OTM anyway? Kind of energy. Then we get to a segment where Grayson Waller comes out. Grayson Waller is still popping off about, the fact that he could have been number one contender. And all of this, Grayson Waller, since he came back to NXT, he's just been Mike Man. I feel like he's been doing more talking than he has been fighting. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but he's been doing more talking than fighting. Then Tony D shows up, and Tony D is like, pretty much, I would have beat your ass anyway, kind of energy, like, whatever. And Cruz comes out, and Cruz is like, no. We not doing this, because don't act like, I wouldn't have been number one contender and all of this. So pretty much, Stone had to make a decision because it was about to get hostile. Stone was like, all right, Heat Wave, Tony D, you are defending your championship against Cruz Montana and Grayson Waller in a triple threat match. And they was all like, all right, bet, kind of energy. So, yeah. So now, Heat Wave for the NXT Men's Championship, Tony D defends against Grayson Waller and Cruz Montana. We get a segment of Lizzie back there talking, and Lizzie was talking with Shiloh because Shiloh takes on Jackson Drake. And Shiloh was like, hey, if I was cleared, I would have totally backed you in that mixed tag match. Lizzie was like, it's all good. I knew you would have been there. I appreciate EK for coming out. EK has a pretty good chance of winning that Cruiserweight Championship. And they were both kind of showing support of EK. And then Lizzie was like, I didn't appreciate the way Callie kind of just came and interrupted me. And here comes Miles Bourne. And Miles was like, I don't mean to interrupt you. And then Lizzie was like, no, it's all good. And he was like, no, you can stay. And he was like, Shiloh, you're in this match, but there's nothing in it for you. So I talked to Stone. If you beat Jackson Drake, you get a North American title shot at Heatwave. So of course Shiloh was like, bet, so he's getting over his eye injury, his upper, I forgot what they called it, because Booker T was talking about it and Shiloh mentioned it, but it's something to do with like this part of the face and eye, and he's still getting over the injury. Then we get to that tag team match, the Ren QCC, Ren, Kendall taking on Callie, Kalani. There's a lot of K names in this match. But pretty standard tag team match. Of course, Callie is wanting a title shot. Callie is like, I didn't come to NXT just to be here. I want gold. Kendall and Kalani are going one-on-one at Heatwave because Kalani is finally getting her one-on-one opportunity. And Ren will be taking on Zarya at Heatwave in a unification match of the Women's Speed Championship and the Women's North American Championship. And that was a lot. But ultimately, Callie and Kalani get the dub. Now, there was a weird moment where I guess I must have missed that something looked like, I guess Kalani was supposed to get the dub and something happened, but Callie ended up doing it. So now Callie goes backstage and she's pretty much, I'm skipping ahead with this part, but she's pretty much like, I just pinned the Speed Championship. I just pinned the Speed Champion, sorry. Do I get a title shot? And Zarya is in there. Zarya was already talking with Stone. And she was like, and I don't want to do no tournament or nothing like that. And then Zarya was like, look, after Heatwave, there's only going to be one dominant woman anyway. So all that you talking is kind of nonsense. So Stone was like, I'm going to propose this idea. Callie, you take on Zarya next week. And if you win, that unification match becomes triple threat. So Callie has an opportunity to be in that unification match if she can beat Zarya come next week. Then we get another segment of the lovely adventures of Robert Stone and Keanu Carver. Keanu Carver is sitting in Stone's office, and Keanu is like, you made it a triple threat match, and you done it without me. And Stone was like, hey, don't fret, it was already in work since, whatever. And Keanu was like, don't worry, it's all good. I even made you a cup of coffee. And Cam Hendricks comes in and interrupts, and Cam Hendricks being Cam Hendricks, and Keanu was like, hey, yo, say fam, you ain't see that me and Stone was in here talking? You usually can come and interrupt and everything. He was like, but you know what? It's all good. I'll leave. So I'm kind of wondering where they're going with this whole Keanu thing. He's being this upstanding citizen. So it kind of makes it feel like they're going to go one or two ways. He's going to get what he wants, and he's going to kind of revert back to old Keanu, or he's going to keep going down this path, and then he's going to, I guess, get passed over so much because he's trying to be the nice guy and do it the right way that he's going to revert back to old Keanu. So in any situations, old Keanu is coming back. So yeah. Then there was a sit-down interview of Dion and Saquon. Once again, they have nothing for Dark State. They have nothing for Saquon Sugars at the moment. So they're trading, insults and jabs back and forth. Ultimately, next week, weaponized steel cage match. Dion Leonard, Saquon Sugars. It's supposed to end the feud. Fingers crossed, y'all. Fingers crossed. Now we get to the Jackson Drake Shiloh Hill match. If Shiloh wins, Shiloh versus Miles at Heat Wave for the NXT North American Championship. If Jackson Drake wins, Jackson Drake gets a shot at Miles Bourne for the North American Championship. And Baylor and Smokes get a tag team title match opportunity, which means Bourne has to pull double duty. Pretty standard match. Eventually, the ref had to throw out Vanity Project because Vanity Project is going to cheat. That's Vanity Project. Then, when Shiloh was taken over, a wild Naraku appears, blows the mist in Shiloh's face, which allows Jackson Drake to take over and get the dub. So, Miles Bourne now has to pull double duty at Heat Wave. Now, when it happened, I was like, damn, Naraku, they this is what they have you doing? But then as I just started talking about this, it dawned on me when Shiloh Hill was having his segments, he was talking about Naraku's miss and where it came from. So it sort of makes sense that Shiloh and Naraku are going to have this feud. Because I was like, damn, they ain't got shit for Naraku, so they're going to just have him go against Shiloh. But Shiloh was hinting at it for 2 weeks. Good on y'all for that. Good on y'all for that. Now we get to the main event segment to turn back around to this. Zilla Fatu signs his contract. Zilla comes out, crowd's going crazy. They loving him. I mean, Zilla, after meeting him in person, as y'all saw in the drop, he has such a charismatic presence. He has such a just, I'm inviting you in to, be the homie presence. So, of course, the crowd is just loving him. They're chanting Umaga. If y'all didn't know, he is the son of the late Umaga. All of these things. So he pretty much is, getting his bars off about being in NXT, and pretty much like he wants to take over. I mean, just like anybody else. So Cruz Montana is in the. They showed Tony D. He was kind of in the crowd, but he kind of made his way to the announce table and kind of stood on that. Cruz is coming out the crowd. Grayson Waller is coming from the back. There's mad security kind of holding them back, bars. And he was like, hey, Well, Robert Stone was like, per Zilla signing his contract, his first match will be for the NXT Championship. So now Tony D'Angelo is defending against Cruz Montana, Grayson Waller, and Zilla Fatu in a fatal 4-way at Heatwave. So Tony D is just standing there like, come on, come on, bring them all on. Cruz is still trying to get in the ring. Grayson is still trying to get in the ring. Zilla popping shit at both of them. So yes, the match at Heatwave just became a fatal 4-way for the NXT Men's Championship. Tony D, Grayson, Cruz, and the newcomer Zilla Fatu. Hey, that's gonna be a main event match for a reason. Hello. Shout out to Zilla Fatu, by the way. If it looks like I'm showing favoritism, I am, so leave me alone. But yeah, that was NXT as a whole, yeah. We're 2 weeks away from Heatwave. We have the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Men's Championship. We have the NXT Tag Team Championships being defended. Miles pulling double duty, defending the North American Championship, a unification of the Women's Speed Championship and the Women's North American Championship. And that's all in the books for right now. That women's unification match could become triple threat. We shall see. And funny enough, I thought they was going to save the weaponized steel cage for Heatwave, especially since it was leading that way. But nope, they was like, hey, fam, we don't want this to drag out any longer. It's going to be on TV next week. You know, so we'll see what happens with Heatwave, and of course, whatever happens next week. Because I have a feeling there's going to be another match that's going to be announced for next week. Oh, and I'm sorry, Kendall and Kalani is on Heatwave. So that's what, 4 matches so far? So there'll at least be one more. It'll at least be one more. So Nxt.A.G, NXT as a whole, on the road to Heatwave. And there you go. Thank y'all for tuning in to this first live edition of Nxt.A.G. I love and appreciate y'all. This will be the first of many. I think the plan going forward is anytime we record, we'll be live. It will be live on YouTube. It will be live on Twitch. I will update everything so that way it'll all be floating about on the screen or in the little ticker down below. So as of right now, if you've been rocking with us on YouTube, the YouTube is T.A.G, TheAverageGamers. The brand new Twitch is T.A.G, aka TheAverageGamer. Average Gamers is all one long word. I think I may update the YouTube so that way it'll all be the same thing across the board. But yes, T.A.G, aka TheAverageGamers, all across the board. YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, we on that as well. So there you go. Many places to find your boys. And shout outs to Lil Dizzle, Jaeger Bombastic, Juggernaut, and Leo, currently your reigning, defending tag predictions champion. That is our main championship we have within tag. But shout outs to them gentlemen, and shout outs to y'all. And whether you loved it or hate it, don't forget to rate it thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, cares, concerns down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, tag that subscribe button and tag that notification bell. And do me a favor. Love yourself and love one another. Take care of yourself and take care of one another. Until next time, you beautiful, beautiful people out there. Don't forget to tag out. Peace.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.